Our happy Thursday. Thursday is my public facing day. It's also my birthday today, so that's super fun. And I'm spending the day with you guys, giving love, giving value. I'm doing a special live today with two entrepreneurs who we've been trying to go back and forth, and this was the time that we had. So I've got a little window here to help them and bring value. So we're gonna wait to see where they are. Jeff, the entrepreneur in the house. We're doing a clubhouse later on today, I think 3 o'clock. If you guys want to join in, happy birthday. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the love. Happy birthday. I appreciate the love. It's honestly overwhelming, all the birthday. I'm an introvert. I don't really like attention on me. So I honestly don't know what to do with all the love. And anyway, I'm working on it. I'm working on receiving it. So thank you guys. Appreciate you. See you later. Yes, Jeff, there'll be a fun. If you guys want to join us, I think we're talking YouTube. Jeff, Clubhouse, 3 o'clock today. I believe we're talking YouTube. Love from India. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Thank you, guys. Where are these guys at? Hey, there's Alan. Okay. Alan, here we go. Here we go. Good to see you. Thank you guys for the love. Appreciate you. And there they are.
Evan, happy birthday, Ev.
Much love, guys. I get to celebrate it with you. Let's go.
Love, no better place, right?
Exactly.
We appreciate you.
What's happening in the background there? Is that new? Is that a candle? What do you got there?
This is a salt lamp. I'm just trying to get the vibes, Ev. You know what I mean?
Salt lamp?
Yeah, little vibes in the studio.
Oh, okay. And there's trees. There's a little stick thing behind it.
Oh, no, yeah. It's just some posters we get up there.
Oh, it looks like the tree is it looks like it was all part of one thing.
We've heard that before.
Yeah, it looks like a little reindeer lamp or something. Anyway.
Well, we were told from one of our coaches and mentors that our YouTube has to come up, so we got to have a nice studio. Yeah.
There you go. That's the plan. And then you have chairs behind. So what do you have, a table?
Yeah, we just have a table that has our mics, and then we got a table here, and then we got 2 TVs, and it's the whole thing.
But can you sit at those chairs? No, right?
Yeah,
they're right up against the...
We're sitting on them right now.
Oh, you're sitting on those chairs. Oh, it's in front. Okay. Anyway, sorry, I got distracted. We're here to help bring the next level you guys some value. So where are we at? How can I help, man?
So I was talking to our mutual friend, Eddie Pinero. Him and I have weekly calls where we chat, and we were talking about YouTube stuff. Okay. And my question for you is, number one, what is your take on YouTube Shorts? And then number two, what do you think the biggest mistake that people make when it comes to YouTube? I know we're probably making it because we're repurposing all of our content there. Like, is there a better way for us to grow our YouTube?
What do you mean you're repurposing all your content there?
So like, we're shooting the podcast based for audio.
Yeah.
But like, if it's a 20-minute episode, it's 20 minutes on YouTube. If it's an hour, it's an hour. I just feel like we're kind of repurposing and we're prioritizing audio listens more than YouTube.
Got it.
Is that going to hurt us long term? Is there a way to get more bang for the buck?
Got it. Okay, so I see Drew here in the house says YouTube short equals garbage. I haven't seen anybody win on it yet inside thought leadership. So I'm not a fan yet. I'm testing it. I've got 2 separate channels just dedicated to it, but nothing has popped. I haven't seen anybody pop yet inside of the thought leadership community, that's where you guys are. It's what I focus in on. So if you look at 80-20, that's the 20, like, play, experiment. Until I prove it for me, I don't give advice on it, because I don't want to say, hey, go do this, and I haven't done it, and I haven't proved that it works. So that's the fun. Maybe it works. Try it out if you want. You have extra time, but it's not where I would invest any considerable time or hope that, like, this is going to be my strategy to win this year on YouTube.
What was your 20% before Shorts? Like, what was your 20% that you were testing before?
Dude, I'm testing everything all the time. I mean, we upload 30 videos a day. I've done 8,000 split tests on different videos. We've launched multiple channels in different languages. Like, I'm testing lives and we test everything new that comes out. I need to test. I like it. I mean, not just because I need to. This stuff is fun for me. So when Shorts comes out, like, yeah, how do I get on? Why is it only India that gets it? Oh, you can do it by putting hashtag in the title, and right? But nothing was working. So there were a lot of people who jumped on the bandwagon and saying, you got to do shorts, you got to do shorts, you got to, okay, but is it working? Like, show me results of it working. And I haven't seen it for anybody. And I would love for you guys to be the first, or I'd love for you to say, hey, Evan, no, you're missing a boat. Look at what Ryan Serhant's doing on shorts. Like, that's the model. Awesome. You know, educate me. But if I'm looking at what's gonna work right now, I wouldn't. It's nowhere near. I mean, it's not in the list of advice or ideas that I give people, because it's just not effective right now. And I want to give effective strategies.
Okay, from your perspective, are we making a mistake by not being on Clubhouse?
Okay, so let's step up a little bit. I would, for you guys, YouTube is definitely should be the home. I would look at your show as a YouTube first show that then is also stripped for audio, not the other way around, because you'll get more long-term success from your YouTube channel than you will from a podcast.
Interesting.
If you need to do separate call-outs for a podcast show, great. If there's something else at the end that you want to add in, or just different lines that you need to say for the audio experience, awesome. But it's a YouTube video first, because then that gives you content for every platform. You take the short pieces for Instagram and Twitter and Reels and all that stuff. But so you're thinking video first, long form YouTube, that then you strip for everything else. So YouTube sits at the top, and then underneath is podcast, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, everything else. And your one YouTube show. How often are you guys making content? Twice a week?
No, we do.
Six.
Yeah, we do
About
6
to be
episodes a
6.
week.
6 times a week? That's awesome. So 6 times a week, then you have infinite content for all the other platforms. But if you're thinking audio first, you're just limited for where your brain could grow.
Interesting.
Clubhouse. Clubhouse is a big opportunity in the audio world. Anybody who has a podcast who is not on Clubhouse is losing significant opportunities. It's not an existential threat to podcasting, but people with a podcast only strategy with no video and no YouTube and anything else attached, you're going to lose market share. You're going to lose audience, especially with Clubhouse being on Android right now. People who are audio first consumption now have choices, and they're going to experience. They want the FOMO of like, who else is going to be here, and the opportunity to maybe be on stage and being invited up. So any podcast that doesn't have a Clubhouse strategy is going to lose, especially inside the next 12 months. So I would definitely have a Clubhouse strategy if you're audio first.
What is your Clubhouse strategy?
I'm not a big fan of Clubhouse because it's audio first. I hate audio. It's the worst for me. I learned zero on audio. But it's my job. My mission is to spread belief, man. I got to be everywhere, right? So it's stupid for me not to be there and playing, even if it's not a video first platform. So my strategy right now is I do a show at least once a week. We're doing one today, 3 o'clock Eastern. Normally 3 o'clock Eastern on Thursdays, we do it either inside a club with my friend or guests on other shows. I'm also right now testing streaming to Clubhouse. So repurposing the YouTube video, stripping it for audio for a better audio experience, and then streaming that. I want to have 24/7 streams to Clubhouse, and we're doing it. So right now, if you go, you'll see, like, I'm streaming right now to Clubhouse of Mel Robbins' top 50 rules for success, and I'm here talking to you guys.
Right.
It's not how most people see Clubhouse. Most people see Clubhouse as interactive. Like, this is not interactive, right? You're listening to a stream.
Right.
But for years, people would say, hey, Evan, when are you going to do your podcast? When are you going to do a podcast? Like, when are you going to take your content, just make it a podcast? Like, I don't know. I have no interest in it. Clubhouse is too hot to not be a part of it. So I basically turned all of those requests to turn into a podcast and just turned into a Clubhouse stream.
Interesting.
I think every podcast should be having a stream for sure, for when you're not on the platform. Like, when you right now talking to me should be on Clubhouse inside your own club or somebody else's club, streaming your top 50 episodes. You're building your audience. And then when you want to actually go on and host, like you're going to actually interact with people, you pause that. Well, I'm doing it today. So today, right now, we're streaming Mel Robbins' Top 50 Rules to Success, one of the videos from my channel. People are asking me, hey, how do I get the full version of this? So they DM me on Instagram and I send them to the link to the video. We've added stingers now inside the audio stream on Clubhouse to say, hey, if you want, people keep asking me for the full version of this. If you want the recording of it, DM me Clubhouse on Instagram and I'll send you the link to it. So people DM me, and it's still manual now. Like we have to set up the automation to make all that happen. And then at 3 o'clock, we're gonna pause the live stream, and I'm gonna open up the room where I'm gonna be helping people about YouTube from 3 to 4 o'clock. We're interacting with me on stage. And then tonight at 9, Anthony Trucks, friend of the channel, is doing his launch, and he asked me to join. So I'm gonna be on stage with him at 9 Eastern tonight. And whenever that's done, we're launching the stream again.
Okay.
You're all over the place. I love it.
That's what you need to do. Like that's where you need to be. You've got a mission. You've got to be on the platforms. Now, at the beginning, I remember I've got a team that can help me with this stuff. So I can afford to play and experiment. This is the 20%. I would not recommend, if you're a video first, I would not recommend Clubhouse as your first play. Right. Because there's no monetization path yet. It's audio first. It's hot. You can meet potential clients and customers there, but I wouldn't recommend it as your first play. The streaming strategy, we're creating the best practices for it. Nobody's doing it. So we're messing up everywhere. Like every day, we're like, okay, how much did that room grow? Okay, what did we try that was different? Okay, oh, somebody we brought up on stage and their baby cried in the background. Okay, so we need to have we're figuring out the best practices as we go. And ultimately, it'll probably be something that we end up teaching people or sharing to say, hey, you really should be doing this, or doing it as a service for people. Like your podcasting service should be a Clubhouse service.
My goodness. And so, Ev, how will you know when this 20% is no longer an experiment?
Mostly it's a feel for me, it's like, it's just, this feels like something. And it already feels like something, but I don't need it to work out inside the next 24 months like other people would. Right? So
which is why you can be more playful with it.
And I have to, and I play in everything, and I play with lots of different stuff. And that's part of the job, right? And it's also just fun for me, but I don't need those things to work out financially. So the advice differs depending on who you are, where you're at. But if you're selling podcasting services, I would switch it to be the Clubhouse expert.
We've transitioned too, because we realized that we were leaving a lot of impact and profitability on the table by not serving our community better. And the vast majority of our listeners are not podcast people, but they're mindset people. So we've made a lot of shifts in that, a lot in part of the conversations we've had in the past. What do you see? Okay, when you post on social media, what is your intention? Is it to inspire, to motivate, to educate, to move somebody down to the next buying opportunity? Like, what is the play for you on social media?
For me, it's always belief, dude. It's always belief. Like, why am I talking here? What are we doing? I know I messed up on the last one because we had this scheduled, and then it was my fault. I was like, hey, are we on? It was like I was an hour late for the session. Like, why do I do this? It's my birthday. And my day is like jam-packed. Why am I doing this? Because this is my mission. Like, I can't think of a better way to spend my birthday than to help. So most of my strategy is around just helping, just trying to spread belief as much as possible. And as a result of that, people find out about the other things that I have, right? So whether it's my Movement Makers program or my book or my YouTube program, stuff comes up, but the goal is to spread belief. That's it. And when you build that brand, then people want to go and find out more about you. And it's not the only way to make it work. Lots of people, I think most people probably use it more for selling and funnels and conversion and all that stuff. I was in a group what day is today? Tuesday, like 2 days ago. these guys are all high 7, mid 8-figure online entrepreneurs who funnel the face off of everything. Like they just live in it, ads, funnels, everything is about getting people into the funnel, and they're sharing the back end and and they're crushing it. I love it. It was my turn to share in the group on Tuesday. It's like, guys, I have zero interest in building the funnels. I recognize it's going to be important, but like I don't like that side of things. I don't like, so somebody asked me, well, who's your hero? Like, who do you want to be like? Like, I want to be like Princess Diana. What's my answer? Like, but combine it with marketing somehow, you know, like what does Princess Diana plus Russell Brunson in 2021 look like? That's who I want to be, right? But it's leading with like the little guy matters to me, and that's where my heart is. As much as I'm helping like all the big names inside of YouTube and what I do, I need to solve the world's biggest problem. So what would Princess Diana do right now to spread her message? You know, maybe that's too old a reference. Maybe people don't, you know, really know who she is anymore and what she did. But I'm very different. So it may not be the right way to do it. It's just my way to do it.
Ev, we're trying to bring personal development to the masses. So
yeah,
we're on that journey with you.
Make it acceptable and accessible, because for a lot of people, it's not acceptable to want to get better, like in their circles. So we want to help alleviate that.
So, you know, I went through this challenge, and I'm trying to figure out the best introvert who's shy, who doesn't want the spotlight, also serve and also build a business. And I don't know, I don't have a role model to look to say like this person's done exactly what I'm doing. So I'm taking different pieces from different people. But when I was doing my homepage, for example, if you look at my homepage, I went to look at what all the guys are doing. My friends, like my contemporaries, people who now I work with Tony Robbins and Brendan Burchard and these guys, right? Like my heroes 5 years ago who now I'm doing joint ventures with, right? You look at their homepage and it's people jumping up and down. You see Tony on stage, like, rah, and people jumping up and down, and he's targeting achievers.
I know.
You know, we look at that and be like, yeah, I want to be part of that party. Let's go, right? Like the biggest personal development conference on the planet, 3 days, 7 days, I'm down.
Right.
But most of America would look at that and say, that's a cult, or that's not for me, or that's too crazy. And so I don't want to just hit the achievers. I need to hit the world.
Same.
And so if you look at my website, it's much more, you have to be relatable. Why I love you guys, like why is this even happening, is because of our first call, which I've talked a bunch about in Pittsburgh, where I spent extra time with you. I didn't really know who you were. I was doing podcasts like crazy when I was on my tour, right?
Hyper-conscious, baby.
Back in the what? The what? I mean, I was saying yes to everything because I was trying to spread awareness of what I was doing. You were one of like 20 podcasts I might have talked to on that day, right? But then I spent extra time with you because of what you said at the beginning about pulling the curtains back, about showing the imperfections, about, it's like, I love that. I don't know how to even do that for myself. So let's spend some extra time with these guys and just answer whatever questions they have, because if they're thinking about pulling back the curtains, they'll come up with some questions that I've never thought of before. And that's my mission, is to show that I'm like just a human person with tons of flaws and fears and insecurities and introversions, and that's what I love the most. So my homepage became that, where if you look at, here's what I've come from, and I was shy and broke and introvert and all this stuff, and here's who I'm trying to become, to make it accessible to everybody. So people would look to you and say, well, that I can't be like those two guys. Like look at them fancy, look at their fancy background and their fancy picture, and they're all muscular and everything, and handsome and all this stuff. You know, I can't be like that. But then if you actually show what you guys went through, like that's neat. Before they'll listen to your advice, they have to know that you're like them.
Yeah.
That you give them hope and possibility. And so I still haven't figured it out, but I'm a fan of how I did it on the website, at least for now. That's the way that my website is the best version that I can come up with at the moment. It's definitely not the final version, but here's what I did to figure that out. I asked the people who are closest to me, who I've invested into, who are in my my circle of like entrepreneurs that I've either invested in or had a really close relationship with. And almost all of them thought I was crazy at the beginning. Like, Evan's just crazy. Evan is, it's just too different. I said, well, what was the thing that made the shift for you? Because now you're so in the world, like you was just so fully drunk the Kool-Aid. What made the shift for you? Because I just kept motoring on and doing my thing, but at some point they crossed over.
Right.
What made the shift? And invariably it was always some story that I told about myself.
Yeah.
Of when maybe it was showing the Instagram clip of like my YouTube subscribers from year to year to year.
Yes.
Maybe it was showing
most powerful post you've ever done. I have it saved and I share it.
We talk about it all the time.
We talk about it all the time.
But
4 years in, 3 videos a day with 1,000 subscribers, you were the most consistent without results I've ever seen out of anyone, and you are my hero because of that. Because in my head, it's like I have reverence for Bezos on the cardboard box in 1994 when his investors said, "What's the internet?" Like I love that. So I think that's the key to be relatable, is tell those old stories. Go ahead. Sorry, I derailed you.
No, that's it. I mean, thank you for sharing your experience. That's why I just throw a whole bunch of stuff out there and then pay attention to what is actually sticking with people. So I would message someone like you and say, hey guys, maybe you thought I was crazy at the beginning, but what made you feel like it was possible? Because that's what I want to shift. The people who don't think it's possible, to
Right.
then just getting your foot in the door and realize, oh, like maybe I can do this. I want to be that guy. And so I just took all of the stories that I ended up telling them, like, what was the story that made a difference? And then I threw that story on the homepage of me going to see a child psychologist, or me being afraid to get on stage, or all of the stuff. Like, the homepage is not your typical accolades.
Right.
My official bio is on there, which is buried. You have to scroll like 5 pages to get to it. But the Forbes stuff and the Inc. recognitions and the how many views and the usual stuff that people talk about. And you need an official bio for some of the media and websites that you do. But the lead is, if you go to my homepage, you have to scroll through 5 pages of story, and each one of those stories hit people in a different way. And so it's like pulling, if you want to hit it, then you have to pull back the curtain on yourself to show your past vulnerabilities, but also even the present ones. Like, what are you still afraid to do? What are you still nervous for? Where do you still feel insecure and weak and not enough? And too many people feel like that's against their public brand or image. And I think the best thing is, hey, I'm still afraid to go do all this stuff. And yet I'll go and do it. Like, I'm not letting my insecurity prevent me from going off and showing up for myself and for hopefully my audience, whoever wants to join in on the journey. And I think that's a lot stronger than saying, hey, I've got all the answers, listen to me, pay attention to me. If you want to hit masses.
I know we got to go in a minute. Before you were Evan, this version of Evan Carmichael with all the perception, because you have a ton of perception now, because you have the credentials, what was your mindset? Because we're not willing to play the sit in front of a car and say, like, the podcast got us this car. Like, we're trying to play the long game and be relatable and scale the unscalable. What was your process in the beginning when you didn't have Forbes, Inc., all that?
Before you were Evan Carmichael in this industry, before you were known.
But I never cared about getting known.
Right.
It was never on my list. Like, I had to fight. I have to fight to get known. I have to still fight with myself to go get known. Like, I have the opposite problem of a lot of people. And so that's why it may not be relatable, or may not be the fit for everybody. I have to remind myself that I'm great, like that I'm a Kanye West who's on my wall here. Like, the other side of I'm happy to stay small. I'm happy to just do my thing. I'm happy to not be known. That's the best for me. That's the comfort zone. So I just never focused on it. But that's why, when people say, "Oh, you're so humble," it's great. I mean, thank you. And that's also why it took me 5 years to get to however many subscribers.
Right. Right.
Because I didn't focus on it, because I never cared about getting known. But when the shift was, hey, if I get more known, the mission and the message gets more known too. That's the thing that gives me the courage.
Right. You can't help people if you're not known. And
that was years of me struggling with that to actually figure it out. So I didn't have a strategy. that was ingrained in
What,
me.
what did you have that ended up being a win in the long run? What did you have that made? I mean, not a lot of people would have done 5 years with 1,000 subscribers. Like, what made you different?
I just cared about the people who showed up, dude.
Right.
There's 39 people watching right now. I love these guys. Like, I'm not focused on the 4,000 who aren't watching. Like, a lot of people would go and create a video and say, "Oh, there's only 40 people watching. Oh, I guess that I'm insecure and I'm not having 400 people watch or 4,000 people watch or whatever," right?
And that's a losing game because you could always have more, right? Yeah.
I think it's a losing game kind of mentally for happiness,
right?
But it's a winning game if you want to go and get, like, if I cared about, hey, I need to have 1,000 people on each one, I would approach it differently. So it's just, I never looked at that thing that I posted on Instagram. For me is not a big deal. It's such a big deal it's a big deal for you. It's like, I'm your hero because of it, and other people watch, but it was never a big deal. I didn't see it as failure. Like, hey, I got 100 subs this year. For me, it's like that's 100 people.
That's why I love it,
and that's why you're relatable at it. Because it's like, yeah, it worked out.
Did you?
Well, I don't know how relatable that part is. Like, I think people see that and say, oh, he was consistent. It's like, true. How do you say consistent? Well, because I loved what I was doing and I was helping people. Yeah. Like, but you weren't helping people. You only had 100 subscribers. Like, but I was helping those 100 subscribers. Like, what are you talking about? This is the disconnect for a lot of people. I never, and I still don't want to be famous. I have to fight that. It's my birthday today. I'm uncomfortable in handling all of the praise. I don't know what to do with it. I suck at receiving the praise. Like, it's actually, I feel bad because I don't know how to recognize people who are saying happy birthday. I don't know what to do with it. I just had Movement Makers this morning, like just before this, and everybody's like singing and have signs. It's like, I don't know what to do with all the, like, thank you, but it's like, it's too overwhelming. I can't, it's like my car engine overheated. I don't know what to do with it. Which is not it prevents my growth and prevents the brand from growing. And so I'm still working through that kind of stuff. But yeah, I need to keep working on just the promotion and awareness and spreading it. And I don't know, if you guys have good role models for me, I'll chase it down, but Princess Di is the model for now.
I'm sure we have some people for sure.
Ev, I think because there's two of us, we have trouble finding people that are trying to do what we're trying to do too. You're having trouble as an individual who's trying to be relatable and bring personal development to the masses. Kevin and I, there's not a lot of partnerships that are on that similar mission. So we've had to kind of create our own rule book from all the data of everybody. So you've been really helpful in instrumental, because we're like 624 episodes in and we're like successful, but we're not like that successful. And who does it for that long without like 1,000 viewers? You know what I mean? So, and I'm not saying we don't have 1,000 viewers, but we're definitely playing the long game, and we always have. Last question: have you always been playing the long game?
Yes.
Was it? Okay. Yeah.
I hate launches. I do 0 launches. Like, my brain doesn't work that way in everything. When I played League of Legends for the first time, which is a computer game, it's like, okay, what's the best late game scaling champion? Like, I don't care about winning the first 5 minutes. If this game goes an hour, what's the strongest champion? Because I want to play that champion. Like, that's what I want to play. I only think long term. I hate the short term stuff. Like, the promotion about what's happened. My Billionaire Mindset series launches today. Great. I'm not thinking about the launch. What am I doing to promote it? Almost nothing. Because I'm thinking already 5 years out. Like, just that may be hard to model. I don't know. I default thinking to forever, as opposed to, it's like, I don't care about the wedding. I care about the marriage.
Right.
I didn't even want to have a wedding. Like, I did it for Nina. I didn't want to have a wedding. It meant nothing. I mean, it meant nothing. I mean, it's a great celebration. My birthday, I don't care. It's one day. Guys, it's my birthday. Let's celebrate the life, not the birthday, right?
Ev, did you almost forget it was your birthday? When did you find out? Be real. Like a week ago? You were like, shit.
No, people have been reminding me, but I forget how old I am. Like, that I'm 41. Like, I don't know. What year was I born? Most of the time, I don't even know what day it is, guys. Like, it's Thursday? Yeah.
Same.
Yeah. Guys, I got to pop. I got to call in like 30 seconds.
We appreciate
you. Lots of love, man.
Thank you.
Lots of love. Cheers.
Bye.